So we're recording now, and like literally 10 guys just jumped on the webinar. So it's recording. I think we should start already. Maybe wait a minute, another 30 seconds. All right, let's just get going. We're recording, so we're good. All right, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to keep the chat open here because, again, it's just me here, and I want this to be as interactive as possible, but there's like 90 guys on the web. No, sorry. There's like 60 guys on the webinar right now, and I'm not going to be able to answer everyone at once. So let's try and keep the questions to the end, just in case I'm like missing something. Just jump in there and just sort of mention it, and I'll try and catch it. So this is the first training that we're going to be doing, and the way I envision doing this is we're going to have this sort of basic training webinar, 30 minutes, just short, cover well, as much time as needed, but I'm going to hopefully try and keep this one today shorter because I'm also not feeling well. And also, you know, we've got a few things to discuss. We're just going to keep it to the basics, to the profiles and how you should be using them, because a lot of people are confused about how they all work and what the differences are. So we're just going to be talking about projects, profiles, tiers, always talking about projects, always talking about tiers. Exactly, you know, how they interact with each other, you know, when you're going to want to use the profiles, when you're going to want to use tiers, you know, and when you're going to want to use, if you want, okay, cool, yeah, I'm going to do that actually, Clint. That's a good idea. Let me do this. Hold on. Assign. I'm not sure how to do that, but hold on a second. Let me open this up. I'm just going to bring Clint on so that he could help me out here with questions and stuff live, just to make this better. This could be like a continuation of the one that we did a couple of months back. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to work out how to hand this over, or how to just bring Clint in here. A couple of guys just jumped on, so that's good. All right, here we go. All right, so Clint, let's see if we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear Clint? Yes, yes, excellent. So all I've done is unmute you. I'm not sure if I can turn you, like you can't see the questions or anything. Oh, hold on a second. Invite others. There it is. Okay. So I need to email your invitation. And then you can maybe
click my name.
No, I can't. I need to email it to you, and then you need to log in as. You want to drop your email?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Where is it? All right, I think I'm gonna have to do this later or just after. I'm not sure where to do this. I've never done this before, and I feel like I'm just keeping everyone waiting here.
Can you be able to just click my name?
Yeah, I've clicked your name.
The attendees list?
Yeah. In the attendees list, yeah.
And then right-click. And then right-click and then select make me an organizer.
Oh, there you go. See that? Awesome. There you go. I was going through some ridiculous way of doing it. Did that work?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's all right, great. So profiles, tiers, how they interact with each other, when to use them, and basically what the deal is with them all. And then I guess a couple of cases of how and where we're going to use them. So, we got the personas and then the different profiles and tiers. So talking about all of this stuff, let's just jump straight into BrowSEO. And the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously you guys don't, when you're starting off, there's no project on the the left-hand side, that. So the first thing you do is your new project. Okay, that's the first thing you do. And the project name is basically a persona. Each one of these projects needs to be looked upon as an individual person, a persona, basically one person. And this one person can have, different profiles. So an example would be, let me just open up the profile information and how we would use this. Okay, so we have this here is the profile information for this project. And these are just all imported emails. Some of them might not be working right now. I just bought these from that guys I recommended in the group, and they're great. So far, I haven't had any problems with them. So this is the base. This is the personas base. See, I haven't even filled in the first name, last name. So we can actually do that right now. So the first name would be, I don't know what that is even, maybe Anthony, and then Temez. I'm making this up, as you can see. I'm just trying to make it look as much like this email that was provided. I didn't even create this email. This email I used a gig on Conquer, and guys have been using it really successfully over at the Video Marketing Blitz, exactly for YouTube uploads and stuff. So that's who I've used. This is who I recommended as well for this. It's just they're absolutely great. So all I got was a Gmail and the information. I imported them, and this is what I have. So I'm just adding the name and the first name, last name. Well, actually, I can actually log in because I should be logged into this one, and I can see what that is. But generally, you're not going to have this option, or maybe you will, depending on if you're creating them or not. Depending on, if you're buying them, importing them, guys sending you the information, you can import them, it just really depends on what you've got there. So because I've got this email already here logged in, so I might as well use the same name, the right name, and then use that, and then I'll be using this name, Anthony, or whatever the name is, if this ever loads, and I'll be using that name across this entire persona, this profile. So just to make sure everyone's clear, we understand now projects. A project is basically a persona, one person. That's it, one individual. Yes, can we get like a 1 or whatever there, you guys with me on this? Yes. Hold on a second. Yes. Hold on. I'll repeat all of that at the end for the Gmails. I posted it in the group, guys. Yes, got it. Okay, great. So we're talking about literally, this is just one person. If this would ever log, if this would, okay, it's going to eventually do that. So once this loads, whatever, I'm going to wait for it to load. Now it's loading. We might as well waited so patiently. So this is the whatever it is that you're doing. If you're doing, I mean, there's so many. I want to do a whole webinar on just using personas for, to do market research, sales personas, to understand your clients, to understand your market, not just to do SEO, not just to do social media marketing. There's so many different ways you can do. I mean, you guys should Google that actually. SEO Moz and HubSpot. They talk forever about personas and how to use online personas. So yeah, so it's like it's look at that, Rochelle Blakely. I don't know how they got that name from that, but whatever. So we'll use that name, Rochelle Blakely. So this is going to be Rochelle Blakely, this persona. Okay, and so whenever I go to any of the sites that I that I'm going to sign up to, I should give her, I guess, an address. We'll do that female. Make this up for now, whatever. Obviously, it's in there somewhere if I go down to the profile, but I'm just going to make it up for now. And then depending on how intimate you want to get with your profiles, what you're using them for, you can go ahead and use the street and all the information there. And that is going to be your anchor, your basically your root. This is your anchor. This is who this persona slash project is. Okay, so now we're going to click save. So this persona project sits on its own IP, its own unique cache, its own unique cookies, its own unique everything, right? So it's exactly like if you're at your computer at home, that's what this is. So you've got access to your Firefox, you've got access to your Chrome. And what's interesting is, and I want to show this just so that you can see, because we've got the R here, and I've never logged in on Gmail in Chrome. But it's not a bad thing to do. It's just to quickly log in sometimes on a different, and you see this is what you get when you're not recognized, right? And you've never been seen before on a computer, right? So you could be opening up this computer for the first time, or you would have cleared your cache or whatever it is, and there's no traces. So it doesn't know that the persona has got this R. I haven't added any images, right? So what should happen, even if I refresh it, no. But what should happen is that it should recognize the IP address associated with this persona, and on the next page it should give that image. There you when it changed to a sort of a blue, like it recognized it. So it's a good thing to do. So just a sort of tip as well is that when you are receiving these accounts, if you do receive them from and you haven't created them, it's not a bad idea to just log in to a different browser. And this is which is pretty cool. So we can confirm the recovery phone number, and then we just go like that, get the phone number there, put that in there, and we're good to go. And yeah, I'm going to recommend this provider for you again, so that we're just leaving a bit of a nice wider footprint, right? So we're connecting this persona to Chrome, we're connecting it to Firefox. This is like a real person. We're on a regular computer, and people like to sometimes check out different things on different browsers. So that's a little sort of a good best practice kind of thing to do, to just sort of spread yourself out and show that this is the real deal. You're logging in browsers and so on and so forth. Okay, so the projects and personas, again, I just want them to look as these are all one individual person. So when you right click on a project, you have a couple of options. You've got add tier and add profile. I'm going to do the profile first because the tier has, I have to say, become a little bit obsolete since we've added the drag and drop capability. But I'm going to cover that after. First, I'm going to talk about the profile. So what happens is when you want to add a profile, and when you might want to add a profile, is when maybe you've got existing accounts that you want to import, and you've basically, you have existing accounts, you want to import them, and you don't have them all with the same usernames, passwords, and emails. So, you've basically set this persona up, and you've got all this information here. Cheryl Blakely, email and passwords, for example, usernames. So this is like, this is the main profile. Right, but you could have signed up to other things using different emails, using different usernames with the same email, or you want to associate it with the same project. So that's when the profiles would come in. So all you would need to do is you'd simply right-click on Add Profile, and it brings up the exact same information as you would have from your main project, only without the profile name added in. Right, so you can add make your own profile, like, you know, okay, so let's say I have an Outlook email I also want to attach this to. So I would say just Outlook. Okay, so outlook.com. And then I would probably, I mean, whether or not I use the same emails, passwords, username, I would just need to come and edit whatever it is I need to edit out. So if my Outlook is just, the Outlook is different and I use the same password, I just change that, the email, to whatever it might be, Outlook, change the password to whatever I wanted the password to be, whatever the new password is, right? The username, whatever the username is, you know, and whatever. And I generally, not generally, always, just because it just keeps things much simpler, is when I'm creating a profile or a persona, I always use take the username, and I make the username the first part of the email. So, you know, it could be first name, last name plus a number. I generally would use the date of birth just to make it look more natural. So that's generally what I would do. And then when you save the profile, so you now have this project, right? This project. And when you go to open up this project, so view profile information, and I see, so this is probably what gets a little bit confusing, and we should probably change this. So, but it's not, because it is profile data. So at this stage, we have a number of profiles, right? So we click on it, and then you get a pop-up. So you want to know which profile you want to see. You click on that, and now we have this new information here. And this profile is still accessible to you within this project only, right? So it's the same IP, same, even if you would change the IP, it would make absolutely no difference. I don't know, actually. I don't know. It wouldn't make absolutely no difference. It would always work with it would always go on the main IP. So this IP address over here. So it's really irrelevant, the IP, but all the information stays the same. And that's the way that we have the profiles work, just to make it easier, so that, you know, you want to add a quick profile, and you can have unlimited profiles. So you want to add a quick profile, you write add profile. You know, we can have another profile for, let's say, an old WordPress blog that was a .com, and we can change the information in here. Maybe it was this email, but we have the different username that was used to sign up to the username, whatever it might be, and so on and so forth. And then you save this, save this, put the web address in there, and then add it to the, you know, the relevant place over here. We'll get into that a little bit later, because we're not talking about the PBNs and vaults and money sign posting right now. We're talking about just profiles, projects, personas, basically, and how they work together, and what the tiers are and how they all work. Just that there's absolutely no confusion on getting started and just, you know, opening up a new project, and you know exactly what this is going to be. So each project is a persona, is a person. And I think that's the easiest way to look at it. It's because that's what it is, right? I mean, I can't think of a better way to explain what each one of these projects is. Each one of these projects is a person, right? A persona. Let me just grab a sip of water here. My voice is going. Okay. And then if I saved this, I would now have 3 profiles to choose from. View profile data. Then I've got all these 3 profiles to choose from. And then you can just as easily just delete them. And then view profile. Don't want that really in there. Doesn't exist. Just delete that. And then we're just back to that. Okay. So it's quite straightforward. So is everyone clear on that? Yeah? Can I get yeah, guys, yes, a 1 or a whatever? Am I being clear here? Are we all clear on how these personas projects work? Clear. Yes, excellent. You guys getting something from this? Or I know I sort of go over it very quickly on the trainings, but so yes, okay, great, awesome. So now the tiers Oh, nice, Robert. Okay, cool. Excellent, Alan. Good to hear. All right. Oh, I can't do that now. There's not going to be a quick walkthrough on the AWS. That's another thing altogether. Sorry. You don't need that for this. That's only for like, just to mention AWS. Only use that if you're uploading really big, large files because, probably not the best solution because it does leave a bit of a everyone. I mean, they're going to know. I mean, the truth is, from what I've been using, I don't feel that the selection is large and is high enough. They all use the same numbers. It's I think the same C classes. It's all on the same server. So while it's your own server, it's not really the best solution. So I would not use the Amazon solution, the Amazon IPs as personas, persona IPs or project IPs or anything. I would only use those Amazon IPs if you have a problem uploading with your current proxies, you got a large video file, or in the new YouTube uploader, it's going to come in really handy if you've got lots of files to upload at once. You're going to be able to use those Amazon IPs if your current IPs aren't fast enough, and you'll have absolutely no problem. So that's how that's going to all work. But I'm not talking about IPs and AWS tonight, guys. All right, so I'm happy that you're all getting a lot from this and understanding exactly what I'm saying. So that's awesome. And then I guess the last thing to go over is just really get a bit of clarity on tiers. So a tier is just the way that tiers work is they're totally separate projects, totally separate personas, and they're there to help you visualize your projects, your campaigns, your backlinking, your sharing, I'll do an example. So we'll have, let's say, a folder. I want it to come up over here, so I'll call it Z demo. I want it to be the last one there. As you notice, this is alphabetically, yeah. Okay, so let's add this to here. I'm just adding, all I'm doing is adding a couple of projects to a folder, and all I'm doing is grabbing it, clicking on it, and dragging it into that folder. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Okay, and I'm just doing this for no reason in particular other than to just do a demo for you guys to show exactly how tiers work and how you could utilize the tiers system, especially if you're using PBNs, doing SEO using PBNs, and you want to tier even your social links and so on and so forth. So this will help you visualize everything. So originally, the way that it would work is I would go here and I wanted a tier, so I would add the tier. And I'd click Add Tier, and we have a whole new project and profile. So this would be test demo tier. Demo tier, and I think that's all I need. Yeah, demo tier, and that's it. And now we have a visual representation of this would be my money site, and this would be my tier 1 persona. So this is my money persona, and this is my tier 1 persona. And if I want to have more tier 1s, I would then go and right-click, add tier, and as you can see, I'm adding projects, proxies. It's a whole new persona, a whole project. Okay, so each tier is a totally new project. So originally, and I think we might phase out the actual right-click tier because it's really not needed anymore. Because what we do now is if you want to have tiers, you can just drag it out of there. So if you want a tier, you just drag that onto that. So that's now my tier 1. If I want another tier 1, I'm taking this project and I'm dragging it onto the tier 1, the money site, and that now gives me another tier 2, another tier 1. And I want to have, let's say, I want a tier 2, then I can come here and have another tier 2, and I can add these here and have another tier 2 and drag that in there and have another tier 2. So what I've got here is I've got my money site, I've got my tier 1, and then I've got a whole bunch of tier 2s. And that is how the tiers work. And obviously, if you're doing SEO, you know exactly how to utilize this and what to do with this and how that's going to make things a lot easier for you to comprehend and understand visually, to know, okay, you don't want to be mixing up those tiers. You don't want to be doing anything with that one, and so on and so forth. So that's how the tiers work. Are you guys good on the tiers? Do we know, you see, you get now how that all sort of comes together, that what the tiers are doing, the job of the tiers are, I think, and do you think we should just get rid of the right-click tier now that we have the drag and drop? Will that be less confusing, you think? Can you guys maybe reply?
Simon, can't you move those in bulk? Wasn't there a feature before where, let's say I right-clicked on your demo folder and I wanted to bring all of those other accounts under that demo at
That's
one
right,
time?
that's
Didn't you
right.
have
And
that?
for some reason, the developer got rid of that when the new drag and drop system came in, and I never pulled him back up on getting that back in there, because we do actually need that bulk moving around. Yeah, we need it back. I agree, Aaron. Okay, good stuff. All right, so I will definitely make a point of bringing that up again, and remind me in the group as well. Maybe make a thread, and I will definitely bring that up and get that added back in. Sure. Yeah, we definitely do need that. All right, so what else was there? So, okay, I think that's it really. As far as the tiers and the personas, what have I written here? Just sort of, yeah, I mean, the profiles, again, each profile project is just a totally separate individual. And then the tiers are also totally separate. The profiles, you know, are all your other sort of things that you're doing that you want to connect with the same person. And we all know, I mean, even our personal accounts, we don't all use the same usernames and stuff. So that's where that would come in, if you've got different username passwords and so on and so forth, as we saw. So any questions, guys? Maybe we can do a little bit of some questions, and then wrap it up if there's nothing else to cover on the profiles and projects. What else was it? What did you think? What do you think, Clint?
The biggest one was about the bulk moving. So I think you addressed that
Yeah.
fairly
Okay.
well. Um,
Demo.
can you add a tiered profile? Let's say you have one profile under a folder. Can you make a copy of that and use it under another? Um,
Actually, no, we don't have that where you can just duplicate profiles. I think that
okay.
might be an issue. I don't know, just because of the way that the file and foldering system works with. But I guess when you're duplicating it, you could probably ask the developer. Let me make a note.
Yeah.
So file bulk
My guess is it would cause an issue.
bulk.
And I would think if you want to use it under, you want to use, let's say you have that Bane one and you want to use that for your vaping, you just go in there and make the links inside of that. You don't move it around.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. When do I clear the cache? How often? I clear the cache only basically when I realize that my BrowSEO is getting to be like 50 gigabytes in size. then I uh, then I go ahead and just delete some stuff and cache and old profiles and projects. Um, but generally, I don't clear it often at all, unless you're limited with disk space. Then you'd need to look at doing that more often. Um, can we add color tabs for organization? I don't know. Probably, yeah. I think we had some sort of color coded or colors in there for things in the past, but they were never really we never really did anything further with them. So we could look at that again. Yeah, we could look at and we could add color coded stuff. That is definitely possible. So let's see here. Color code profiles. Okay. Okay. Um, okay, in previous training, covered bulk persona creation for these. No, I wouldn't use, like I said, guys, I wouldn't use the AWS IPs for persona stuff. Just because they're so, if you've noticed them, you get a server, but all of your IPs are the same. You're on the same you're on the same server. It's just basically grabbing the server using the Squid proxy open source tech, and it goes ahead and creates it turns it into an IP. I don't know exactly how it does it exactly technically, but it goes ahead and creates it creates IPs out of the server. So that's how that works. It's dedicated to you, but it's still, they're all the same. There's a bit of a footprint there using it for personas and stuff if you look at them. Okay, so if we're talking about okay, these, well, we weren't really, but sort of got onto requests somehow there. I know. We could just get so carried away with BrowSEO sometimes. Oh, let's just talk about this for a bit. And then how about that? This is just so much. Okay, new tab icons. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. If you clear...
Valerie had one. Their way for each persona to remember all of your logins. I was pretty sure that's what it was doing.
Yeah, each persona... Yeah, well, that's exactly how it works, Valerie. So let me just show you how that works. This is what your persona is. Okay, this is all of your logins right here. Okay, this is all of your logins right there. If you have other logins, other usernames, that's when the profiles come in. Okay, and when you want to use these profiles, so let's just I'll do a quick demo. So let's just add a profile. Do I have profile? No, there's no profiles on here. Let me just add another demo profile there. So add profile, demo, and that's it. Let me open that up. Okay, so if you're here, let's say you've gone to wherever you are, Gmail, you're on a site, you don't know what you want to log in. It doesn't recognize the site that it's on as of now. But what you'll do is you'll do fill form right here. You have this here, so it'll fill the form information, and before it does the fill form, it will ask you which profile you want it to fill the form of. So that's how that works, Valerie. So that's in there already. That's how you get it to work. You just got to click the button up here, and if for some reason the form filling doesn't work or it creates some sort of a weird block or so on and so forth, then you use the CP window, the copy and paste. It just opens up the same persona, and you just you click it, and it automatically adds the information to your clipboard. So you just click that, and then paste that in, and click that, and it just makes it very easy for you to just grab that information. So that's how that works.
Drag those.
Huh?
So you can just drag those.
This is autofill, Valerie. That's how that works. This autofills it. Yeah. When you go to the page that you want to log in, you click this, and it autofills. Do you have... Yes. Do a vendor for AI scripts? No, we don't. We've hired someone, David, because I couldn't find any decent guys out there. It was taking too long to find decent iMacro guys. And it turns out what you want to do, tips for that, if you want to find someone good to do the iMacro scripts, make sure he's a very good JavaScript developer as well. So you need a JavaScript developer who can do iMacro scripts, and that's it. If he's good at JS, you want JS JavaScript-based macros. So he'll understand how to use the system very, very easily if he's a JavaScript guy. There is a way to do that, Aaron. Aaron's asking to upload or migrate user data. Are you talking about adding other cookies to a session of BrowSEO? So let's say you've been given, because I know some account providers, they give you cookies and cache, that kind of thing. So yeah, you just basically need to add it to the caches folder in the project. So you can find, yeah. So that's right. So you just need to go into the back end of it and the caches. There's a caches folder. We're going to look at maybe adding some sort of a quick way to do that. But it's already pretty quick. You just literally need to go into the C drive 86, and it's in their caches. All right. Did I miss anything there, Clint? URLs to make creation easier.
Not that I saw. Maybe can you show the option to bulk add proxies? Like they buy 100 proxies. How do you add them all at once without opening each one of those projects that's there? You know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
that's over here. Here we go. Proxy settings. So we do. There's two actually tips that I'm going to show. First, this is the normal way. Just go and open up the proxy from over there, and I've got like over 1,000 accounts, so it's going to take a moment to open them up in here. Okay.
You're crazy.
Yeah. All right. There you go. So, all right, cool. So, here, this is how you do it. So, if you've got accounts that you only want to add them to, we've got this here, so we could, if you just want to change them all out at once, you just select them all, hit multi, add all of your IPs in there, follow this format, IP port. If you're using the username and password, then do that. But I recommend not to use the username and password because they can tell when you're authenticating with a username and password. So I wouldn't do that because no normal person authenticates. No normal IP internet service provider uses a username and password to authenticate every single time they go to a page. So they can tell that. And Twitter is really tough on that one. So if you guys have been having issues with Twitter, sometimes just doing the HTTP authentication based on your IP is enough to fix that. So just always keep it with the IP port and get rid of the username password. Just do IP authentication and you'll find other things working a lot smoother, other sites as well working a lot better and easier. They can just tell there's a username password thing going on quickly in the beginning, and they'll put up certain blocks and things to make sure that your life is a little bit harder on their site because they know you're messing around. So that's how we do that. And then you can also what's this? Okay, yeah. You can also do that folder based. So what I have here. So this folder here is my usearch folder, and I have these here are using the recommended provider that Brian Parnell recommended, and I've been using since and been getting great results with all of my YouTube views because they're using nice, clean residential IPs. They seem to be working really, really, really well just to get you started and to boost your initial foothold when you're getting your videos out there. And they all have the same IP, and what happens is each time there's a new HTTP refresh, each one will open up with a new IP. So what you do here is you come and you right click and set proxy, and you just set the IP port, and it'll go ahead and set every one of these personas with the same IP. So I'll show you what I mean. So I've been using it for crowd searching. We can go just sort of Google. Oh no, it's not going to show that, but it would be just to see how clean they are generally. But I'm not going to do that just to see. But I'm just showing you how it would work. So you would see each one would come up with a separate IP, but it should open straight to Google and not have any issues because generally they're all nice, clean IPs. Like when you come to Google and it's saying that, watch my luck, they're all going to come back. You're sending automated messages. But now you see that's where it's fine. Google, and then basically each one of those IPs I'm going to show you, once it goes to it, come on. Okay, so what's my IP? And what's my IP? And what's my IP? Yeah. Okay, so they're all, as you can see, different IPs, and they're all basically the same IP that was loaded. So that's how that works. Great for crowd searching stuff. So that's, I think, everything on IPs. Without going over Amazon, because that's a little bit it's much more in depth, and I'm not going to do that now. That will just confuse everything I've just done with IPs, and it's not worth going over in such detail right now, because you know, it's not to do with profiles and personas. You want it, you want to use it just if you're having problems using your current IPs for uploading big files on YouTube and so on and so forth. So as you can see, they're all nice and clean, and they work great. You see, so each, and even if I do that now, I could do like a quick HTTP refresh, and that'll be a new IP. It should be 2381.23563. 23563. Oh, it didn't. Okay, maybe because it's recognizing the session, which is pretty interesting to note. But you can see they're all definitely coming up as separate here. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's it. Definitely, if you want to be doing crowd searching stuff, but that's going to be later strategy videos. We're going to cover all of that and how to connect that all together, how to get your videos off. We're going to have the uploader, which is almost ready. I'm very excited. I actually got the working demo with all the changes, and we got rid of the upload bug that I mentioned yesterday, or maybe today actually, I think. But yeah, we got rid of that one. Just doing a little bit more testing, and then we can let you guys have it. So that's really cool. Very excited about that. And some of you are going to really want to use the Amazon IPs then if you're having issues uploading. I mean, I would only use them if you're having issues. I'm not having problems, you know, generally. I almost never have to do it unless it's like 100 megabit upload file. Then I'll go ahead and use the Amazon IPs. Then, you know, you need to. So let's see. Are there any more questions? I think...
Is the YouTube watch script, is that part of the iMacros Club?
The YouTube... which one's that? This one here? Yeah, this is the Macros Club. Yeah, this is the YouTube like video and YouTube subscribe by keyword.
Yeah, and then if you want to do views, use that go-to URL. It does the same thing.
Yeah, go-to URL. That's perfect. That's exactly what I use that for. And you can use that to do the same thing with your embeds. That's awesome. So that's why I kept that as just, you could use anything, your embeds, your videos, your whatever. Open it up, use these proxies. They're all opening up on separate IPs. They're residential IPs. It's been working great.
And then are you using the 3-minute or 15-minute storm proxies?
No, I'm just using the instant. When the HTTP, every time you get a new HTTP call, it refreshes the IP. That's what I'm using.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then there's no more questions over there. I have one for you.
Okay.
The import bookmarks. Has he got that fixed yet?
You know, I've totally been under the weather the last couple of days, but he did say that it went in. But we're going to get it updated in the next update, so it could be that he actually thought it went in, but it didn't go in, because if it's not working, then he must have forgotten to put it in. So we'll get it. There's an update coming out soon, which we're going to need to update, I think, because of one of the iMacro scripts that we sent out might not work 100% without this update. So we're going to have to update that soon anyway, and we'll try and get as many of these things in there, and we'll definitely get that in there, the import. We'll definitely get that.
Yeah, that's I think that's probably, if I was adding like any other features, that would be the one that I would want fixed.
Cool. I'll get that in there for sure.
And let's see, instant proxy refreshes. Certain extensions. I think you're talking about browser extensions, Aaron, and those are all in your system browser. They won't go in BrowSEO.
Yeah.
So you add them to your system browser and then right-click Open in System Browser. That's it, Simon. There's no other questions.
All right, great, guys. So I guess we'll end the webinar. And I'm going to have a replay. We're going to get this up. And then maybe I'm going to sort of hopefully break this down into smaller bites as and when is needed, as long as it's not, because I've already got lots of small videos out there that cover all these little things. Maybe all we need is just these sort of the big coming together pictures, and then you can go find all the little tidbits that make sense. And whatever we need to do, we'll make sure that we've got all the right videos covering everything, just to make sure that there's no questions in your heads about what anything is and what to do with anything. So we're going to go through obviously all the projects, the prospector, we'll do a webinar, RSS, Publish Up, Feedmaster, FB Conversio, SEO, BrowSEO, IEA. We'll do a whole thing for each one of those. And I think that's probably the best way to go from here. But we'll do another poll in the group and see what you guys want. All right, guys, thanks for coming, and see you in the group. Thanks, Clint. Cheers for helping out.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you. All right, if I could work out how to do this now.